Hey, parents and coaches, Andrew Simpson here from PFP. We need to have a discussion about the national referee shortage that is happening as we speak. There have been 5 games in our local area that have been canceled at the high school level just recently because there's not enough refs. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for our athletes? What does that mean for sports? I am convinced that this path, it was only a matter of time, for one, before this started to happen, because sports are a volunteer thing. There's something that it's extra, it's a privilege. It doesn't have to happen. It is certainly not an essential in the world. And therefore, referees, if we don't have refs, then we're not going to have sports. If we don't have coaches, which is also a thing where coaches are quitting at alarming rates, if we don't have those people in place, then we don't have sports for our athletes. And this thing that was once this amazing vehicle to develop a young man or woman into their full potential, this amazing vehicle is now gone. And actually, you know what might happen? If we don't have refs and coaches, the kids might just start playing and might just, well, have fun again. So let's talk about this for a second, because referees have reported, they've been surveyed, they've been asked the question, why did you quit? And they say because they get treated like dirt by coaches, by parents, and now by athletes as well. And it's no wonder, because if our athletes are watching us, then they're getting their cues from how we act, not what we say. Because I know a lot of parents and coaches, they all tell their athletes the same thing. It's like, hey, treat the refs with respect, and then they watch them do the opposite, and kids don't listen to what we say, they watch what we do. And so now here we are, we find ourselves with a referee shortage nationwide. And again, the law of the path says if we continue on the path that we're on, the destination becomes pretty predictable. And so let me just kind of paint a picture for what that end destination is. No sports. Okay, we got that covered. So what do? My recommendation right now is we need to stand for something as love-powered parents, as love-powered coaches who are trying to do it differently, right? Who are trying to restore the passion, restore the joy, restore the good things about sports so that our kids don't burn out and referees don't burn out and coaches don't burn out. Like, as love-powered coaches and parents, here's what we got to do. We have to stand for something in love. And that means if a parent is screaming at the refs and you're witnessing this, it's good to not say anything yourself, right? It's good to maybe not scream at the ref, but man, what we really need right now is for you to look at that parent and say, hey, John Smith, I get it. It was a bad call. But if you keep screaming at the refs, we're not going to have any game to watch because the refs are going to go away. So could you please sit down? And here's what you shouldn't expect to happen. You should not expect John Smith to turn to you and say, oh, you know what? Thanks for the reminder, Carl. I needed that. No. John Smith might turn around and say something to you that's not very nice. But at least you took a stand, because what will happen is John Smith, he'll be thinking about it. There's a good chance, unless he's a really rare bird, there's a good chance he will sit down and he'll stop screaming at the refs. And if we start doing that, we start standing for something, then over time, it'll make things better. Because right now, the problem in sports and the reason why coaches are quitting and refs are quitting, all of it is within our control to change. It's not external factors that are influencing it. Over COVID, that was an external factor that shut down sports. And we should have maybe taken a clue at that point that, hey, we should probably change our ways because we just lost sports and we should be more grateful for them. But no, we went right back to our old ways. So this is all within our control. Everything that's happening right now, the referee shortage, they don't get paid enough, right? They're not going to hang around for long if they're getting treated like dirt. The coach shortage, the coaches that are quitting, all of it can be changed if you and I look within and say, what can I do differently? What can my role be? How can I make sure my kids have sports for a long time, right? That they don't go away because of my own just whatever, all right? You fill in the blanks. Whatever it is that you're doing or maybe witnessing and you're failing to say anything about it, that's stuff that's within your control. Last thing, the way that we make decisions, the way that these referees are making decisions, for the most part, people make decisions based on pain and gain. And as soon as the pain of something, as soon as that pain outweighs the gain that a person's experiencing, the majority of people will quit. Now, some people who are really noble and who are perseverance and who are just Like that rare person who's like, I don't care how bad it hurts me. I'm going to keep serving. I'm going to keep showing up because it's right for the kids. I mean, there's like very few people who will go to that length. Majority of people, as soon as the pain outweighs the gain, I'm done. And that's what we're seeing with the refs. That's what we're seeing with some coaches. So we got to stop. Pause right now for a second and ask ourselves, what can we do differently? So make sure you stand for something. Say something to John Smith. If he's screaming at the refs, just tell him, hey, dude, I watched this video, and we can't keep doing this, man. We can't keep doing this. And if you're the coach, obviously it's within your power to make sure you're biting your tongue, you're being slow to speak, quick to understand. Refs are always going to make bad calls because they're human, right? They're not perfect. And we wouldn't make perfect calls if we were in their situation either. So if you're the coach, doing your best to treat those refs as kindly with as much respect as possible so that our athletes do the same. All right, that's it. Soapbox done. We'll talk more as this thing progresses. And I believe wholeheartedly that we can turn the ship around and we can make it better. All right, talk to you soon. Peace.